Vieni a prendere il foglio, mi dici tu il via?
Sì.
Okay, so thank you for being here today. In this afternoon session, we will talk about job interviews and how and where to find a job abroad. I will provide you with some useful tips, and I will give you some useful websites to visit or where you can register in order to look for a job abroad. As you may know, interviews may be carried out on the phone or face-to-face, or you may also have Skype interviews. So we will see also something regarding Skype interviews. We will see what you can ask during job interviews. My first question, just to break the ice, is, do you know the difference between open and closed questions? Yes?
Closed questions is with the crosses.
Yeah, yes or no. If you speak, you can't make crosses.
Yes,
but
yes
you
or
will.
no questions.
Yeah.
Answers. While the open one is like if somebody asks you, where do you find yourself in 2 years?
Oh, very good. And then you have to say something, not only yes or no. Then regarding formal and informal language, I know you know the differences, but what is important is that you know how to behave during a job interview. So you have to know that informal language does not have to be used. Okay? So no slang, no colloquial expressions, just plain English, as plain as possible. So, would you tell me please which are the open and closed questions in this case? A till is a sort of a counter, you know? So, can you use a till? A register. Closed. Have you got a clean driving license? Can you work shifts? Closed. Do you know what shifts are? Well, the first shift, for instance, may start at 8 and finishes at 5, and then there is another one from 5 until 10. These are shifts. Okay, so this is a closed question. What skills have you got in this area? Open or closed? Tell me about your recent work history. There is a question mark more there. We should take the question mark out. So tell me something about your recent work. Definitely open. What makes you feel you will be good at this job? Open, don't be shy. Can you start early in the morning? Closed. And you would say yes, of course, with a smile on your face. Yeah, of course. What are your strengths? Open. About what are your strengths, we will see that later, probably. This is a typical job interview question. So be prepared, which means have in mind some of your strengths and some of your weaknesses, because potential employers will ask you both weaknesses and strengths. So you can't only say, oh, I'm very efficient, and that's it. You have also to find a weakness of yours, so start thinking about it. Okay? Are you able to work every weekend? Close question. Okay, we will go very, very fast here. Tell me which are the formal questions.
Get to move on. Formal.
Formal. Of course, then. And that's it. Okay? Nothing more. All the rest is colloquial. Okay? Maybe a bit exaggerated, but colloquial. So that means don't trust movies. Okay? Movies are full of slang and of course of swear words. Taboo language. So don't trust movies. In order to have a perfect job interview, take English classes or take a book or take whatever. But don't trust movies, don't trust songs. I'm sorry to tell you that, but not for job interviews. Good. So now, let's have a look at phone interviews more deeply. The phone interview is a part of the hiring process, so it's one part. It can determine whether a potential employee, that is you, is going to be called for a formal interview. In this case, it is a first selection process. This means that there will be a phone interview, and And then, if the potential employer likes you, you will be asked to go abroad and have a face-to-face interview. So the phone interview is just one step, the first one. If you give a good impression, that's fine, red light. If you don't give a good impression, the opportunity is cut off, okay? How can you be prepared to a phone interview? We will see that. Some other times, the phone interview is the only interview you will have. This is especially when you're very young, as it happened to me in my first jobs abroad. I only had first job interviews. If they were right, if they were good, I was supposed to start working, and this happened in some countries. Okay, so sometimes, of course not for managerial positions, of course, but for other positions, the phone interview is the only one. So giving the right impression is crucial. Most of the times, however, and I would add also in Italy, you may have a language test on the phone. Okay, so just to test your English. In such cases, the interviewee, which is you, is informed ahead, which means in advance, when the interview will take place. Some typical questions might be, have you ever been abroad? Have you ever been to England or to the United States? So have these answers prepared if you know that you will have a language test over the phone. In your opinion, which are the most important things to remember in a phone interview, apart from what is written there? So, tell me.
Speak clearly.
Yes. Yeah, apart from what is written there.
Don't stutter.
Yeah, don't start that. Yeah, sometimes you can't help it. Yeah, I know. That could be a nice idea. What else?
Don't ask about wage.
Again?
Don't ask about pay. Wages.
Oh, all right. Yes, of course. Yeah. Hi, is that Patrizia? Yes, hi. Will you give me 1,000 euros a month? Yeah, this is not a good idea to speak so directly about the wage or salary. Something else. Can I wear a pyjama if I have a phone interview? Yes. For instance, so this is not so important. Okay. The first important thing is be prepared. As you are normally informed about the date and time of the phone interview, you should make sure that your phone is charged. Be prepared to have a professional tone. Choose the right quiet place, which means avoiding internet cafes, for instance. If you're having a Skype interview, this is a phone, but avoiding noisy places, okay? So be in a room, be prepared, just be there with your phone. Then be ready to write down something. So be ready with pen and paper. Maybe they are going to give you some email address or something to do. So be ready to write down. If it's a language test, be prepared to make a presentation of yourself, of your past work experience, of your travels, and so on. So practice. Then smile. If you smile on the phone, the other person will hear. You have to sound happy. Okay. You have to sound thrilled. That means excited, but not too much. Okay, don't exaggerate. Don't jump out of the window. Show that you can handle the new work duties and issues without lying. So show that you can do the things that they are telling you, show that you are enthusiastic, but not too much. And most of all, don't lie. Do not boast, which means do not show off. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, I'm so good at this. Don't exaggerate. Nobody believes anymore in Superman or Wonder Woman, so take it easy. End a conversation by thanking the employer for his or her time. This is very important, especially in Great Britain. Make sure that you understood the next stage. If they are calling you and when, make it clear. And wait for the employer to hang up first. So don't click over the employer. Wait to hear the click. Okay? Questions? No questions. Then let's jump to face-to-face interviews. The face-to-face interview is crucial, therefore you have to make it successful. Which are the most important things to remember before, during and after a job interview, in your opinion? Can I wear a pyjama if I have a face-to-face interview? No. So this is something maybe I have to bear in my mind, my clothes. What else? Would you care, for instance, to know how to reach the company, or you just make it up that day? Would you spend some time to know where the company is and how to get there? This is something. Company information. After the invitation to the interview, learn everything that you can about the company, including the background, the motto, and any values that the company shares. This is something that we said also this morning for those who were there. The potential employer wants to see that you know what he or she is doing. Okay? You have to show your interest. You have to show that you know what the company does. Otherwise, why should he care? Okay? So, learn something about the company. Visit their website. It will make a good impression. Punctuality, okay? Being punctual doesn't mean arriving on time. It means arriving ahead, which means in advance. Not 1 hour, 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes ahead of the scheduled interview time. Shaking hands. Shaking hands is very important. A firm grip, not strangling the hand, but firm, okay, is very, very important. And if you feel embarrassed about eye contact, you have to look at the cheekbones of the other person, because this will give the impression that you look in the eyes. So now try yourself, look at the cheekbones, and you will see that it looks like you look in the eyes. Come on. Turn around with him, play with him. So, does it work? Yeah? So, you see? No more shy. Are you convinced? Did you try? Did it work? Good. So now we're ready. Dress to impress. Dressing for a job interview can be very difficult, as there are many types of workplaces and many types of attire. Attire is another way to say clothes. However, remember that it's better to dress a bit conservatively. So if you have to choose conservative clothes, at least for the first interview, okay? Employers do not like fancy dresses. Of course, the way you're dressed has not so much influence, but, you know, it's always good to have to give the first good impression. And of course, in the first good impression, there are also other keys, other important factors, such as your hair, your nails, and your body language. So no arms crossed here like that, or no arms like that, of course. And no fidgeting. Fidgeting means playing with things around you, playing with hair. No, try to stay still. So here are some percentages. So for instance, as we can see on the right-hand side, we see that 70% of employers claimed, there is a typo there, claimed they don't want applicants to be fashionable. So a bit conservatively dressed. This is the meaning. Then in the middle, we see that 67% of the employers said that most of candidates failed to make eye contact. Okay, eye contact. 47% said that the job seekers had little or no knowledge of the company. Okay, so they really care about this. Some recruiters prefer both to hear you and to see you before inviting you to take a formal face-to-face interview. How would you prepare for a Skype interview? So, could you wear a pyjama in a Skype interview? Oh yes. Yeah, my trousers, yeah. I mean, they will only see my bottom-up part. Come on, what is important in a Skype interview? Don't look at me like that, answer. We may take something from the phone interview, such as punctuality, or the face-to-face interview, quiet place, for instance, choose a quiet place, this is for sure not on the street, not while you're having your shopping, at home possibly. So, same tips as for the phone interview, be prepared. That means know the company, get some time to know the company, choose a quiet place, check the internet connection, and smile. And some tips as for the face-to-face interview, neat appearance, at least from above the waistline. The waistline is this. Smile and be punctual. All right? Now we skip this exercise and we make this exercise. This is an interactive video. You will find the transcript of the job interview on page 2. Who doesn't have the handout? Do you have more? Okay, if you can come here and take them. Good. Okay. In this video, you will be asked to participate. So please, I beg you, participate. In the middle of the video, you will see an interview, and this is the transcript. So you can either watch or read. Okay? And that's it.
EF Pod English. Brought to you by EF Education First and English Town. Learn anytime, anywhere. Pod English, Upper Intermediate 69. Interview. Today we're going to learn how to describe yourself at a job interview using compound adjectives such as hard-working, easygoing.
Anyone good with people. Very well organized. Where I see myself in 5 years.
Thanks for coming in to talk about the volunteer position. You're an accountant, right?
Yes, that's right. I ran an accountancy firm for 5 years, but then I sold the business and now I'm looking for a job to keep me busy during the week.
Okay, let's start by looking at your CV. Can you tell me what you were responsible for in your previous job?
In the accountancy firm, I managed a small staff and I kept the business running successfully.
Right, so you obviously have good leadership ability. What would you say are your main strengths?
Well, I'm pretty strong-minded, I'm very hard-working, but I'm also easygoing, so I get along with most people.
Good, it's important to be warm and friendly if you work with the public. Do you have any special skills?
I'm very computer literate, and obviously I have plenty of administrative and financial skills.
Excellent. Those are all useful. Now I'd like to ask you what you feel you can bring to our organisation.
Well, it's been my goal to contribute more to the community. I'd like to think I could be a useful resource for members of the public, and a friendly face to be around.
Perfect. The last thing I need to ask you about is your availability. Are there any times you won't be able to work?
Well, my daughter comes to visit on Thursday afternoons, but apart from that, I'm available all week.
Thanks very much for coming in, Mr. Oakes. We'll be in touch early next week.
Now let's talk about the language of the movie. Ben wants to make a good impression on Karina, his interviewer. He does this by describing himself using compound adjectives. These sound impressive. So how does Ben describe himself? Let's watch that part of the movie again.
Well, I'm pretty strong-minded, I'm very hard-working, but I'm also easygoing, so I get along with most people.
Ben says he is strong-minded, hard-working, and easygoing. These are all compound adjectives. A compound adjective joins two or more words together to describe a noun. The words you join can be adjectives, adverbs, and even other nouns. Together, they function like one adjective. Let's look at what some of those compound adjectives mean. Strong-minded. This means that Ben is independent and determined. Easygoing. This means that Ben is relaxed and is not easily upset or worried. Here are some more compound adjectives. Well-organized, fast-paced, highly paid, and goal-oriented. If you are goal-oriented, it means you are good at working to a specific aim. We often use a hyphen to join the words together, especially if the compound adjective comes before the noun.
I'm very computer literate, and obviously I have plenty of administrative and financial skills.
Yes, there's one compound adjective here, and that's computer literate. It means he is good at using computers. Are you computer literate? Notice here that we don't use a hyphen. Now it's your turn to try. Ben works hard. Can you think of a compound adjective to describe Ben?
Hardworking.
That's right, Ben is hard-working. Let's try another. Ben is good with computers. Use a compound adjective to describe Ben. That's right, Ben is computer literate. Well done. And can you remember the compound adjective we use to describe someone who is relaxed? Someone who is not easily upset or worried? That's right, easygoing. Well done. And can you remember another compound adjective we use to describe someone who is independent and determined? Yes, strong-minded. Excellent. I think you've now achieved your goal of learning about compound adjectives. Excellent work. Now you know some really great ways of describing yourself at a job interview. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you next time.
I'm Carl. I'm solution-oriented. Got great skills. This job is mine.
So, let's move. Typical job interview questions. That means what you may be asked. How to reply to the interviewer. When you are asked a question, it is important to avoid long pauses, first of all. So, make small pauses, but not too long. A small pause will give the impression that you are thinking and you want to emphasize your point of view. And then when you answer, try to answer strictly the question you are asked. Don't wander off. Okay? Then you should have some answers prepared to questions such as, tell me about yourself. What is meant by tell me about yourself in your opinion? What would you talk about?
My studies.
Your studies? And?
My past experience.
Yes. Which kind of experience?
Job.
Work experience. Okay, remember that work experience is an uncountable noun. So you don't say work experiences, you say work experience. Then, which added value can you bring us? Which means, what can you give me? I can be your future employer. What can I get from you? Okay, this is very important. So you have to change your point of view. You have to see the perspective of the employer to make a good impression. You have to let them understand that you can give something to the company. This is very important. And this is also a very important question I was referring to before. Which are your good and bad personality traits? Which means, which are your good points or bad points? Which are your strengths and your weaknesses? Now I'll give you a couple of minutes, well, 1 minute, to think of your good points, but also your bad points. And then I will ask you. So, at least two. 2 good points, 2 bad points. Please, take your time. Think. Think hard. I know it's difficult to find our weaknesses. So, who would like to tell me his or her good traits? 2 good traits. You. Yes, yes. Please, 2 good traits. It's easy, it's good traits.
Easygoing.
Okay.
And strong mind.
Oh, really? Very good. Now I want to hear 2 bad traits. You.
Not very patient.
You're not very patient. Another one you must invent. You're stubborn. Okay. What you have to think of is the following, which is very, very important. As soon as you say your bad traits, try to balance it. Balance them, actually. Which means, you can say, I'm very stubborn, but I'm working on it. I accept other people's advice, okay? So you will give the impression that anyway you are working on your weaknesses. Or, which was the other one, sorry?
I'm not very patient.
I'm not very patient, but I, as well, accept the advice of my colleagues and I try to slow down a bit. I'm taking yoga classes and so on. Okay, so for every bad trait of yours, try to find something to show that you counterbalance it. This is very important. Why should we hire you is the same as the question above. Okay, so always take the employer's perspective, their interest, what can I give to them, not what's in it for me, but for them. Tell me something you would change about yourself, your work attitudes, and this is connected, for instance, to your bad traits. Which are your best skills? What are you really good at? Are you prepared to travel on a regular basis or extensively? And where would you see yourself in 5 years' time? This is a typical question. Of course, if we are applying for a managerial position or whatever, well, we have to stick to the job we are applying for. So we cannot say, oh, in 5 years' time I would like to be in the away and with my wife. No, try to stick to the job. So if we are applying for a sales position, oh, I see myself as running the department, or I see myself as a team leader. Try. Don't boast, don't exaggerate, but stick to the position. This is my message, okay? So, my job interview question, so what you may ask. So these are some questions. Which are the ones you would avoid, for instance?
Am I supposed to be salary? Which is my wage? Will my time pay?
So most of them, all of them, we'll see. So, which is the pay scale? Actually, at this point, I would say yes or no. At your age, I would say, well, don't ask it. I mean, don't ask it straightforward. Wait for them to tell you about the pay scale. At my age, or for people older, it becomes more normal to ask for the pay. Okay, so wait until you're a bit older to ask straightforward for the pay. Which are the job duties? This is a good question. because it means you are interested, unless the job duties were listed carefully in the job advertisement. But it's always a welcome question. So you may ask which your job duties are, because it means that you are really interested. Are there any possibilities of advancement? This depends. It would look like you are already looking ahead and you're not concentrated on the current duties, so try to avoid this question. Which are the working hours? It depends, as well as overtime. It depends. Do you know what overtime is? Overtime? If I work overtime, it means that I work beyond my working hours, okay? It depends. If you are applying for managerial positions, forget the overtime paid. So it depends. If you are a blue collar, as they say in England, blue collar, so a worker in the plants and warehouses, of course you are interested in shifts, in working hours, and so on. So it really depends on the company. After the interview, thank the employer for his or her time, shake hands, look in the eyes, and you can make a follow-up call after a few days. There are other ways to make a phone call the days after. You can make a simple and short phone call to ask if the position has been filled. Just like that. Okay? Nothing more, without insisting, and that's it. If you do not hear from them. Yeah, normally the interview ends up with, we'll let you know. Okay? So you can wait, or after a few days, you can make a nice and short and professional telephone call. Okay? Nobody will kill you for that. Now, we will see how and where you may find a job abroad. Okay. So, let's skip this. All right. Yellow pages. I know this looks silly, but this is an important engine. Because if you go to the European Yellow Pages, you can type in the field, for instance, imagine that you are interested in working in the advertising sector. You type in the field advertising agencies or advertising, and then you will have a list of advertising companies in different countries, in UK, in Bulgaria, in Poland, in Romania, in Spain, and you may send to these advertising companies your curriculum after seeing their websites, after seeing whether they are recruiting or not, after seeing what they are specialized in, to tailor, which means to customize your curriculum and your letter of application. Okay, so this is a good idea where to start. Another one is every Yellow Pages in every country. So this is the example of the UK, yale.com. Again, you type in advertising and then the location, London or Edinburgh or wheresoever. You have a list of all the advertising companies and there you start. Why not trying with the Chambers of Commerce, the Italian Chambers of Commerce abroad? This is the example of the one in the United Kingdom. If you go to the list of the members, you have companies, Italian companies based in the UK. You go for a list, you see their websites, you visit their websites, you see if they have any recruiting going on, and you send your curriculum. Okay? Of course, here again, depending on the sector, you might be interested. Okay, so this is another way. You choose a Chamber of Commerce or the country you would like to go. Can be London, can be Paris, can be Brussels or wheresoever, Frankfurt and so on. And the same with Confindustria, which is the Industry Employers Association. They have branches in many countries. This is the one in Bulgaria. You look for the member list, and you have a list of all the Italian companies in Bulgaria. You look for the sector you're interested in, and you visit their websites, and you find a way to send your application. Okay? That's another way. Simple internet search, all the good times. And then comes Monster. Who knows Monster among you? Nobody? This is one of the greatest job search engines in the world, okay? This is the international one. As you can see, you can choose the country. For some countries, you can even choose the language. I chose, of course, the one in Great Britain, and we will see together how it works. So, I entered the keyword mechanical engineer, supposing that I will graduate soon in mechanical engineering. And I selected London. You can see that in the right-hand side. Then I clicked on search, and here is the list that came. So I selected just one, maintenance mechanical engineer, and I clicked on that. And this is what I got. So I have a full description of the job, as well as the working hours and the pay. If I say, okay, I like this, and I'm skilled for that, you can click on apply. Then you will get this page. You will be asked to become a member, which is simply to log in, to have your login details. Once you have set your membership, you will enter with your login details and you will upload your curriculum. You will have the possibility to write a cover letter. I would suggest doing so. And of course there are some questions relevant for Great Britain. But this is also important at the very end, before submitting. The system is asking you whether you agree to receive a job advertisement similar to that one. Okay, so the system will detect similar job advertisements and send them to you directly to your email address, to your inbox. If you click on yes, the system will do that. Then you click on submit and it's done. So your application has been sent and you will just have to wait for an answer. Or will come by, most likely by email at first. This is another very good job search engine after Monster, Stepstone. It doesn't operate in all the countries and Monster, but in quite a few, at least in North Europe. Take into account that the Netherlands is one of the greatest countries in Europe when everyone, and if I say everyone, it means from children to old-aged people, that everyone speaks English. So considered also almost to mother tongue like, okay, the Netherlands. Then comes, of course, Denmark, maybe also Sweden and Norway. But definitely Netherlands is almost like mother tongue speakers of English. All right, let's move on. Then why not trying Job Rapido by choosing the country you're interested in and of course what you're looking for. Or also this one, I found also this one quite reliable, where you also can choose the country. This is in Italian, but they offer this list of recruiters for many countries. Okay? Maybe their database is not as rich as the other ones, but why not giving it a try? Another very good one is Kelly Services, especially in the UK. As you can see here, you can select many countries. kellyservices.com. And there is this login thing as Monster. I mean, they all work the same. You will have to register and then you apply for the position, and if you want, they will send you automatic emails. Then, of course, also there is this, the program, it's not called the Leonardo, it's called now Erasmus with the university. The Erasmus is a great opportunity for you to start. Okay, great opportunity to grasp. I had my Erasmus in the Netherlands, and it was really an illuminating experience. Then, of course, we have the EURES. You have two possibilities with EURES. Well, my colleagues will talk, of course, further about it. But with EURES, you may either contact an EURES advisor, which is something I did many years ago when I went to Germany. Or you can look for a job yourself from this website, and then we will see how. If you click on look for a job, you may select the type of work you're looking for, or you can enter a keyword. As keyword I typed Italian speaker. I wanted to see what came out with Italian speaker. Then you will be asked to select a country. I chose Ireland because I was there and it's a nice and lovely country. Then you will have a list of all possible jobs given the keyword or the position you entered. You have some technical words such as DOE, PH means per hour, PW means per week, okay? But what is very, very interesting is that LRS gives you the direct email address or phone number of the employer. So there is no agency in between. You contact directly the employer with a nice CV and a nice cover letter, of course. Okay? Then there is ISAC. ISAC is a student association which is focused on paid international internships and or volunteering experience in many, many countries. You will have, of course, to become a member. They will ask you to fill in a form and so on. They have their own procedure, but they work greatly. Okay, I had a training experience with them in the United States, so they're really good. Okay, so another way. Okay, here I just propose a book fair, but this is not the book fair what I'm aiming at. What I would like to tell you is the following. If you're interested in a specific sector, you may look for fairs and exhibitions in that sector. Even in Italy, exhibition in Italy doesn't matter, or in Europe, for instance, Germany. But what is important is that you look for the list of the exhibitors, because from the list of the exhibitors you have a list of companies. And if you visit the website of the companies, which are potential employers, you may send them your curriculum, okay? So, focusing on the exhibitions of your field of expertise could be another way to look for potential employers abroad, okay? If you are interested in furniture, for instance, and design, home design, there is an important exhibition in Milan called the MAD Expo. Every year, I think in October, I don't remember. You go to the website, you look for the exhibitors list, and from the exhibitors list, you get a name of the companies which exhibit there. They are all potential employers. You look at their websites, you get to know what they do, you see if they have any recruiting process going on, and you send your application. So this is another way. Any questions? No. Then we have the Italian Trade Commission. This is actually more something they do for businesses, which means for enterprises. But their site contains some useful information. For instance, if you click on Mercato, then you can select, I chose Europe, but you can select any country in the world. And then you pick up a country of your interest. And for each country, they have a list of the exhibitions. So here again, you may look for an exhibition in the sector of your interest and look for potential employers. Or you may look for some other addresses or links which might be useful, such as this one, the sectors or manufacturers associations. And here again, you may visit their website, you may look for the memberships, and there you can get a list of the companies operating in a sector of your interest. I know the passage is quite indirect, but it's a way for you to get to know companies abroad, okay? Reliable companies abroad. Visiting their websites and seeing whether they may be recruiting, okay? Is that clear? Yes. You look scared. Okay, another way is to look for temporary job agencies on the spot. So on the spot, that means already there. So we have, for instance, Adecco. Adecco is worldwide known, and if we have an Adecco in Italy, of course, we have an Adecco in the UK, in the US, in Denmark, in Germany, and so on. So why not visiting their website and looking for a job right there? Okay? A tip for this. Although this might look very thrilling, very nice, very exciting, take into account that if you apply for one of these jobs and you do not provide a local phone number, they will not consider you. I mean, if I'm applying for a job in Ireland and I give my Italian mobile number, because I don't have an Irish mobile number, because I'm not there, they will not call me, okay? So the best thing to do is, yes, you may contact Adecco or whoever abroad, but if you have already planned to move to the country, okay, and possibly if you already have an a national there mobile phone number, okay. If they see an Italian phone number, they will not call you, because they know you are in Italy and you're wasting their time, okay. So provide an international phone number, an Irish if you're in Ireland, an English if you are in England, a German phone number if you are in Germany, and so on. Otherwise, they will not call you. Okay? This is another temporary job agency, Manpower. Of course, you know that. Okay? As I said, the best thing would be to already on the spot, which means on the country, and having a country mobile phone number. Okay, this is what I've just said. Questions? No. Okay, this is another way to look for temporary job agencies abroad. I picked up Ireland, and I got this long list of temporary job agencies. So as you see, there are many. Not as big and as well known as Adecco or Manpower, but there are many. In any case, this is one, for instance. This is in Dublin. Okay, then also our Ministry of Foreign Affairs offers us something which is not much, but better than nothing. You should click on opportunities and see if there is something that might interest you there. Then, of course, there are some international job fairs or other career days abroad. Of course, you would need to go there, but there is one which is virtual. So that means that everything happens online. That's the one, globalcareerfair.net. You may visit the website and see if there is something which might be of your interest. Okay. These are some websites. If you may happen to be interested in working in Australia, Canada, or New Zealand, take into account that New Zealand is normally more open to Europeans. Yes, it is not so difficult to find a job in New Zealand. It is more difficult in Australia and Canada. Okay, so New Zealanders are a bit more open to Europeans. Okay? Then, what else? You may look for job advertisements in the sector magazines, of course. Send your curriculum to multinational companies. The third point, it seems silly, but it's true. If you have any friends, think of your Erasmus friends. If you may happen to have any, well, you can contact them. You may decide to stay at their place for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, no, better 3 weeks, and look for a job on the spot. Maybe you can plan ahead some job interviews with the recruitment agencies, okay? And you start looking for a job. This is what I did when I went to Ireland. I had one of my Erasmus friends who was there, and I stayed at his place for 3 weeks. And in this time, I looked for a job. I had contacted from Italy many job agencies, so I had some job interviews fixed with them, and I found a job there. So I was lucky, I have to say that, but this might be a way, so consider it as well. Use your Erasmus friends. Use them. Then, well, you may have some freelancing or house sitting, which looks weird, but we will have a look at it. Okay, this is a way if you want to start working from home as a freelancer. This is typical American mentality, but you may start somewhere, somehow. These are some useful websites if you want to have a look. And then house sitting. What is house sitting? You are young, so you may do that. It's an opportunity for you to travel and without paying for the accommodation. That is taking care of the house of the person who is not there. Okay? So taking care of the house means watering the garden, paying the utility bills, collecting the mail. The owner may pay you for that, but for sure you will not pay for the rent. And in the meantime, you may look for a job. Okay? This is something you might consider doing as you're young. You have thousands of opportunities. Now, these are some websites. Okay, take into account that you may be required to pay an annual registration fee. Okay, so you will have to ponder whether it's worthwhile or not. Okay, this is in Italian. It's an interesting website, italiansinfuga.com. These are some extracts I took from the website. If you happen to have a look at this website, it has some information. Then, and we are done, there is this interesting website, Viaggiare Sicuri. Why is it interesting? Because it gives us information about the security of a country, how we may feel secure or not in a country. Okay? And you may choose, of course, any country in the world. Okay. Now let's see that. Any questions? No. For those who wish, all the content of this workshop and the workshop we had this morning is in this ebook. Okay, you may find it in my website or in the store directly, insert in the book. So if you don't have any questions, I thank you very much for your presence. I hope this workshop was useful, and I wish you very, very good luck.